This video is going to show a solo flawless Master Nightfall during week 2 of the final shape. The Nightfall is Warden of Nothing. The weekly modifier, Master modifier that is Togetherness, which means that you get no health regeneration when you are solo. It's the worst modifier in the game. But we have to work with it this particular week. So I recommend for easy clears, solo wise, for Warden of Nothing Master is Red Death. There's multiple builds that can give you health regen back and stuff, but the amount of health regen you get off Red Death is instant. It's per kill that you get cure. Now, we could have run Precious Scars and stuff like that, but I wanted to try out Heart of Immortal Light with Consecration. That's why I've got it on, to see what it's like against champs. So I'm kind of mini testing while giving you a video. So yes, I'm aware that the damn Precious Scars exists. And you know something, I use it a lot myself, but I don't use it every single time when I'm on a Titan. Maybe partly because I'm actually half decent on a Titan and I don't need an exotic helmet to keep me alive. I'm obviously joking, but seriously, we want to use Heart of Immortal Light. So as long as you've got some healing in your build, you'll be able to do it. But as I said, the uptime of heals on Red Death for the Togetherness Master Nightfall, which is essentially a Grandmaster, by the way, this is harder than a Grandmaster. Look at this. Like, I would have had health there, but I didn't because of the damn Togetherness. So this is a Grandmaster Nightfall, right? Basically, with worse modifiers, because Grandmaster Nightfalls, they don't have Togetherness farming and stuff. They are a minus 25 delta. And Master Nightfalls are minus 20 delta, but believe me, the 5 level difference, I would still rather have Togetherness not be there and have a minus 25 delta instead. Because you're 20 level, if you're 20 levels or more under, you're doing similar damage. People have tested this. The difference between like, I can't remember the exact numbers on it, but the difference between like a minus 40 delta Nightfall and a minus 21 is very similar in terms of damage that you do. It's not that there's actually been calculations done on this in the past. So the damage is similar anyways. It doesn't matter. You will get hit harder, but talking about like a minus 5 delta, like a minus 25 to a minus 20 delta, there's barely any difference. You're barely going to see any difference with that. So we've got our first unstartable in this run. We're going to get a glacier down, then shatter the glacier, then we'll super. We've saved our super for this exact moment because the reason why our loadout's like this is because we've got three champions to stun: Overload, Unstartable, Barrier. Right now, I could have run Overload Sword. I don't recommend it. Not on this. Chances are you're gonna die with it on, in my opinion. Now you could run Lament, and I've run Lament in this before, and actually Lament's still good. I know they nerf Lament, but it's actually still decent. In endgame stuff, you could run Lament and then run like, you know, a sidearm, a rocket sidearm, and then a overload hand cannon, like the one I've got. As long as you've got like a time payload one, legendary wise, then you're good enough. But I don't recommend it too much. This is better how I'm running it. So our grenade is our unstartable function, because unstartable champions aren't too bad in this. The problem in this run are more so barriers and overloads, but more to the point, overloads. So I feel as though if you haven't got any good way of dealing with overloads, it could be a problem. See, a Prismatic Warlock has a turret that stuns all 3 champion types. Prismatic Warlock is the best class for GMs. Hands down, it is better than any other class, including Hunter, even though Hunter does have the Wild Hunt Sniper and Nighthawk and stuff. Yeah, it does have that. But the Warlock is that good. It's just too good for GMs. Now, I haven't even played GMs, but I know. I haven't played GMs this season, but I already know. That build, with the Arc Soul and the turret, is going to be king. Unless something else comes out. So, you know, you mount with the Warlock. But like I say, on like a Hunter and Titan, on a Togetherness Nightfall, you want something to heal you. And as I say, there is exotic class items and stuff, I know that. I haven't got them yet. I just haven't got round to it. I haven't even went into the mission yet to, you know. I've seen some footage of it. But the problem with exotic class items, and this has went down really badly, is that you can only get them from the dual destiny mission. This, no matter how you look at it, a lot of people are complaining about this because there's no way to get it solo. Now, I agree with them. I don't think that they should make it so that they're easy to get. That's not the point. Just that you can actually do some sort of activity to solo to get your exotic class item. You could have it linked to a solo flawless dungeon. So if you solo flawless Wards Ruin this particular week, you get the class item. Because let me tell you, solo flawless Wards Ruin is now difficult. It wasn't difficult, if I'm being honest, last season. Not with the solo mods. It's now more difficult. Much more difficult. I would say it's when if we were to say it was a 7 out of 10 difficult wise, it's now nearly like a 10. It's a 9 out of 10 because you need to do more phases. You need to do lots of damage phases now because we can't do that much damage. There is some hidden metas for sure, but you need to rely on surges now as well. It is solo surge this week, so it's the best time to run it, I suppose. But I'm just saying that there should be different ways of being able to get the class items. It shouldn't be just via a duo mission. This is an easy fix. All they need to do is make it so that make it via Grandmaster Exorcism next week. We're getting the Grandmaster 12-man mission next week. Make it so that people can get class items via that. That is a good opportunity for Bungie to say, right, make it a rare drop. Fair enough. But at least you may be able to get one rather than having to do the damn mission, which the mission won't be hard. I'm pretty sure it won't be. It's just call-outs. It's just call-outs. That's all it is. It's not that it's difficult. It's just that it's annoying because you've got to get somebody, people are busy. People go to work. If you're logging in on your own and you just want to get the damn class item, you mean you're going to have to talk to a stranger online. You don't want to. Not everyone wants to. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why people are annoyed about it. And I agree to some degree that it shouldn't just be via it shouldn't be just via that damn mission. It shouldn't. So the spawns on this, the Hydra, we melted him with the axes. You want to do that before you push up, because once you push up, the enemies spawn in. You don't want the Hydra alive because the Hydra is going to blast you down while you're dealing with the ads. So use the super. That's the best case scenario right now. Use your first super on the Hydra. You don't need your super for anything else right now. Not at the minute. We're going to try to work on the left barrier. Like I said, Red Death's not the best weapon for barrier. It's more the fact that it heals us. The trains obviously come left and right. We've done a bit of bait and switch. We'll do that again. That should then kill. I don't mind spamming heavy on that left barrier because it's important we get that left barrier down as soon as. While that's going on, the goblins to our right will be looking to see where we are. So the positioning is critical there. The fact that we sat where we did was perfect in terms of trying to kill the barrier from. It meant that none of the goblins would give us issues. If we had sat anywhere else, the right sniper would have shot us and we would have had to reposition, and then it would have been a bit of a mess. If I was to run that back in a different way and purposely make it wrong, you would see the differences. Right? You would see the difference. So your positioning is all positioning. It really is, especially with a Togetherness Nightfall. You literally have to outstrafe enemy fire. How many of you actually count enemy fire and how many times you get shot? Because those players who actually count that stuff and actually outstrafe enemy fire, those are the best players. Because a lot of you just tank it and and sort of play messy, if I'm being honest. I'll point it out exactly what I mean later on when my HP is really low with Togetherness. It's just because Togetherness points out one fact where I have to pay more attention to enemy AI, and that's what I'm on about. People who pay more attention to enemy AI are generally a better player than somebody who doesn't. When stuff matters. When stuff doesn't matter, it doesn't matter as much, does it? So I'm killing this Overlord, not this Overlord, but this Minotaur. The reason why we're killing this Minotaur is because he will push later on. So if we kill him now, there'll be no Minotaur's push. So that's why we're doing this. This'll mean that we can fight from the left-hand side platform, and we don't have to worry about a Minotaur flanking us, because that's generally what happens or has happened in the past with me on this particular Nightfall. So we're just working on some of these enemies here. I'm paying attention to my heavy drops because now we need to think about heavy a little bit, because I've only got 4 shots. Right, I do want to leave this room with max heavy or close to, because when you're using a heavy GL in a GM, the ammo for it is really important. Not like a machine gun. Like a machine gun, you can spam it, you know, you're good to go. But with a GL, because you spam it, like if you're using 8 shots on a champ, which you probably will, that's a lot of your ammo. A lot. We'll use a super here when the Minotaur is in middle. Unfortunately, he teleported, so the last axe missed. He's obviously debuffed as well by the artifact mod. I recommend that you run that. So when you super a boss or anything, with this super, you'll debuff him. It's like a tether. The axes for the Titan is the best void super, like, I've seen. It's really, really good, honestly. It's a range damage, and it's doing all, you know, it's doing a lot for you. So I've got bricks on the floor, so I'm alright to use a bit. I was weak there, so I had to head glitch at the stairs, but that's good. That just shows you that where I'm standing is perfect. I just got hit once or twice more than I should have done when I was spamming my heavy GL. So I slightly overcommitted to damage there, but only slightly, enough to realise to back up. See, when you're facing against any target, always have a plan B. So if you are doing like sustained damage, can you within less than 1 second back up to a piece of cover that stops you from dying? If the answer's no, you're standing in the wrong spot. You're standing in the wrong spot if the answer's no to that question, if you're up against champs. If it matters, if you're in a scenario where it really, really matters, and in GMs it will. The less your skill, the harder you have to work. The harder... If you're somebody that's never done this, you will have to work harder than me. You will have to play at 100% capacity. I won't. I'll only have to play at 60% capacity. I'll have a sandwich halfway through. I've done in the legwork for Destiny 2. I've done the legwork for Destiny 2. But for somebody who hasn't, you've got to earn it. Earn it and then upkeep your skill over a certain amount of time. It could be years, and you know that really is true. We'll get a glacier down, get a stun on the unstop. We'll do 1 melee. We'll try and do 2, but our second melee missed. But the consecration melee done so much damage there just for 1 melee. That was really good. We'll go transcendence here, right? Because our transcendence nade on the Titan will suspend targets, so we get a second stun. So technically, I could take the Glacier off and just rely on Transcendence only, but fighting back-to-back unstops will be a problem. But I suppose we don't fight back-to-back unstops, so you could specifically save Transcendence just for that bit. But I suppose we did fight double unstops there, didn't we? But there is a trick where you can farm Transcendence up via kinetic weapons. So when you're using a build in Final Shape, preferably a kinetic weapon is better than an energy weapon when you are solo, because you get more transcendent energy via kinetic weapons. So let's give you an example. Outbreak Perfected is kinetic, therefore you will get more transcendent energy than what Red Death will. Red Death will give you the light stuff, but it won't give you dark energy, whereas a kinetic fills both meters. So if we were to objectively look at it on the transcendence part of it, then Outbreak's a better weapon. Well, it is anyways. It does more damage than Red Death, but we're in a Togetherness Nightfall. In this exact scenario, right, on a Titan or a Hunter, it's better to run, for most players, a Red Death. Because of just ease of use, and you will get health on every kill. Therefore, ignoring the mod Togetherness. It's already annoying as it is, so to bypass it, you're sort of bypassing it. Well, you are when you're up against red bars, but when you're up against only champs, you're not going to get your health up all the time. That's where you're going to have to learn the strafing, behind cover, when to fire a barrier, when not to fire a barrier, when to peek, when not to. All these little micro details that if you were to just go full-on frontal attack against some champions, especially at the boss fight, with Togetherness on, and you haven't got a Warlock with the turret, because you're on a Titan, then you need to learn movement if you don't already know how you should play movement solo. See, there's movement for fire team and there's movement for solo. I'm on about advanced now. And they're both polar opposites. There is obviously fire team players who excel in that, in fire team coordination on like sort of the best fire teams in the world. I'm on about now. I'm on about those teams that that fire team speedrun GMs. Those teams who can do GMs in like 6-7 minutes. They have the skills. Well, some of them have skills for solo as well, which makes them even more exceptional. But there's different skill sets for both. All right. Now, some of you might be trained well on the fire team side of things, but I've met a lot of players over my time who are good that side, and then when they come to solo, when they're sort of not there. They're not with it because they're not used to fighting on their own. They're not used to having somebody as a support role. And no, dude, there's no support roles. You are the role. You have to be DPS support role positioning. You are a one-man army. There's nobody to rely on for this or that. That's where it's all different. I'm not saying that solo content's harder than fire team content, depending on what we're on about. Because if you're solo gameplay is easier than what it would be to get a world record in a fire team speedrun, because that's a world record, right? Only so many people, only 3 people are going to have that for that particular whatever that is. So in that sense, that's more difficult. But for most of you, you're nowhere near that anyways. So just focus on, what's good for you, of course. This overload's pushing us, which we generally fight the overload from a distance. The consecration melee with my fragment, which I didn't realize, but it stops him because our ignitions are bigger. There's a fragment that I've got on that I showed you at the start of the video. It actually stuns him. So initially I didn't realize that would be the case. Like when I started to run this, I didn't realize that the ignition would be enough to stun the unstoppable, because the run before this I didn't have that fragment on, the one that makes your ignitions bigger or more effective or whatever, and it wasn't stunning the unstoppables. So I guess I've learned it, and so have you. The fragment that makes your ignitions more effective, you need that on if you want to stun a champ via the consecration melee, which I didn't know that either. I'm going to be learning loads of minor details over the coming weeks about Prismatic. So that's just it. So there you go. So I could have ran a slight different setup, ran a pulse nade with sort of done that, and then ran the jolt fragment if I had it, and then just run a rocket sidearm for unstops. So if we redo this, if I redo it, it'll be on a different character this week. We'll see how this one goes. So we've got the final 2 barriers here. We are weak. Now this is what I was on about, right? We have no surefire way of getting health regen, and we're up against 2 barriers, so it's important that our positions bob on. So we went for the finisher kill instead, because I know that these barriers are not threatening up close, but they are from a distance. Look, and I'm still weak here. Like I said, there's no red bars to kill, so there's no way of me getting health regen. So we're just going to peek shoot. So look, I'm actually physically counting how many times the barrier is shooting me. Look at the strafe. The minor footwork. We're getting hit once or twice there, but enough to not have our shields broke. We need to prime the barrier. We've nearly got our shields broke now. Shields break. We're fine though, because we're gonna get a shield break on that barrier. So looking at the gameplay on like a minor, on an in-depth look, it's dead important on what you do. That's why I'm saying these Master Nightfalls, they're not for everybody at all. Like, they're definitely not. Especially your Togetherness one. It's just not. I mean, on a Prismatic Warlock, this would have went completely different, by the way. The barrier would have stayed frozen, and I would have just been able to chip away that barrier's HP. Boom, we're done. When we haven't got that damn turret, we're on a Titan, Hunter even, Things are different. Things are different. So this is where everything needs to be exactly right. So we kill the 3 goblins out of this door to the left. We push up. Barrier will actually teleport on us. We're going to kill this orange bar here, but we're going to lead with a consecration melee. So here we go. We're going to prime the barrier, get him half HP at least. Then we'll go with Red Death. We're then going to activate bait and switch, melt the barrier. We'll finish the kill there, I suppose, to save 1 shot, because we've only got 7 shots left of our heavy. Then we'll get the goblins, get health regen off those. We'll then get a glacier grenade down at the unstop to freeze and shatter. We're then going to use consecration, but damn, we just didn't have our melee in time, so I used a bit of heavy GL shots. So we've slightly messed up, but we've come back, made some minor adjustments. We'll go Transcendence or Transcends to get the suspend nade, and then we're done. So I was actually lying to you. You don't need to play absolutely perfect, but have a plan B, and I had one. It was Transcends, but I was going to use the Transcendence on the altar on cap point C. So to take away from that, don't cap A until you need to. You get more time like this. Don't cap A until the barrier and unstop is killed. If you're having problems with the unstop, then you're just going to have to go and cap A anyways, because it'll wipe you at 0 seconds. So if it gets to 2-3 seconds, step on A no matter what. You have to then, right? But this is how you get more time. B's an easy cap. C's the difficult cap, but we have super. So I recommend you either do a Transcendence or a super, but we have super. So we're going to use the axes. It will melt everything on the plate just about. We're then done. There's an Overlord champion wandering around. Don't kill him. You will get platinum rank. So you can skip 1 champion in this Nightfall, and it's up to you which one you skip. But you want to skip this one, because this champ, you're not going to have enough time for him. You're going to struggle on the time. You don't need to kill him anyways. You get platinum. He can be entirely skipped. He was fighting the Cabal. This has been in the game for a long, long, long time. Obviously, I know because I've played Warden and Nothing multiple times. I have multiple plays, solo GM-wise, and any difficulty you can think of, I've got. So I know everything about Warden and Nothing, obviously, because I make it my business to know. So, yeah, the Overload can be skipped and you get platinum rank. I can absolutely confirm it. So just do that. Don't worry about it. I suppose what you could do instead is skip the unstop, if you could try and do that and kill the Overload instead. So you could switch them out. The problem is with the Overload is he's wandering the map and he's difficult to find. The unstop is not difficult to find. So I opted just to kill the unstoppable instead. So the mini boss, we're just going to use the Scorch Cannon because this is going to save ammo. Don't use heavy right now. It's very important that we get some. Let me try and think. You want at least 12 shots. Maybe 14, 15 shots for the final boss. Max. If you've got max ammo, even better, but try and get some ammo. The way we do this is get exotic primary kills on some of the red bars. Don't just melt the VIP boss if you've got no heavy at all, because you definitely won't have heavy then. If there's none scattered on the map, you're going to go to the final boss, no heavy. That's a problem. It's a bit of a problem. You can still get by without it, but it would take you a lot longer and it would increase the chances of death. So don't do it. For players who lack skill, get the kills of some of the legendaries before you kill boss. Like, look, I'm actually getting some bricks. I know that, so that's good as well. And obviously make sure you've got scav on. It's very important that you run scavs now. Very, very important. Especially for a weapon type like a heavy GL that you spam. Because it's designed to be like that you spam it. But at the same time, you need to make sure that you're getting plenty of kills with your exotic primary to increase chances of a heavy ammo drop. So now I'm feeling a little bit better. There's a brick on the floor. I've got 10, so we'll finish the boss off. I could have killed even more ads if I wanted. But that was good enough. It's very important as well, if you're going to run overload hand cannons, i.e. the legendary types, that you run time payload or explosive payload hand cannons. Or kinetic tremors. Or if you've got a midnight coup with both explosive payload, kinetic tremors, that is the best hand cannon in the game. Legendary wise, it's the best hand cannon. I have not got that rule that I've just mentioned. I've got an explosive one and I've got a kinetic tremor one, but I haven't got like a gun with both of the perks on. So if you have that hand cannon, make sure that you're using it when you want to use an exotic in a different slot, because it's hands down, it's better than Fatebringer, it's better than any other hand cannon for PvE, legendary wise, easily. But I'm just using the revolver because I wanted to actually, and I love it because it's got drop mag on it. And this roll I've got, you can't get it. It's impossible to get it because they dropped, they dropped drop mag years ago. But guns that have drop mag on it, are still in the game. So, see, drop mag mattered when there was white bricks, when primary ammo counted. But now drop mag doesn't matter because primary ammo is infinite. So we've basically got a free perk because drop mag works anytime. Half the mag, empty the mag. It's just a really good perk, honestly. So when you drop down here, do not drop down to boss arena. What you're going to do is focus the overload champion. You're going to get him overloaded as much as possible with your hand cannon. Because of time payload, it has no range drop off, so you can get really good stuns on the overload whilst the Cabal lay into that overload. So your primary goal right now is kill overload. Kill the overload, that is it. Right, once overload is killed, you can push down. I'm just farming up a little bit of transcendence, I think, but I am going to decide once I see that the Unstop's entirely focused on the Vex, I'm going to try and kill the barrier instead. Generally, like if I had an unstoppable weapon, I would have killed the unstoppable next, but I'm not going to do that because I need room to move with my consecration melee and get a glacier off. If I do all that whilst the barrier Cabal is up, I will die. See, I know the differences on which order you take them depending on which loadout. Like you could just rhyme off a loadout to me and say, how would you do it with this loadout? And I would say, oh, we'll do this overload and then this, that. And like it would slightly differ depending on what we're running. But you would never deal with the Vex barrier first. That is always a big no, because the Vex barrier is a decoy. We are using him as a decoy. Look. We're using enemy AI, right, to our advantage. So, we're going to pick a piece of cover. Now, this barrier is zoomed on us, so we need to prime him. So, I'm going to use one GL shot. Then we're going to get a stun. Keep an eye on your HP when you're getting a stun, and make sure you strafe if the Colossus starts to melt you, because they can melt you in less than a second if you stand in the right spot. Like, look at that. They hip fire sometimes like that, so you've got to get ready to strafe left. That's what I was on about at the start of the video, is that when it comes down to these moments, you need your positioning to be exact. Where you're standing, can you strafe out of danger if you get into danger? Right now there's no danger, we're full HP, so we'll get a stun on the unstop with our grenade. Then we'll do a consecration melee and then a couple of GL shots. I know I didn't proc bait and switch, but it's no big deal because I did proc radiant, and my only goal there was to just kill out unstop. There wouldn't have been enough time to proc a bait and switch in that scenario. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter because heavy ammo won't matter to us now because you can't use it in the way that I'm going to be doing this Nightfall, and you're going to see coming up. This is a very old strategy as well. So we're going to weaken this barrier. We are going to weaken him with our heavy though, because Red Death doesn't do that. I've noticed with Red Death it's really good, but on champs it's not so good. It's lacking a little bit on the champ section, but I forgive it because its health regen is just so good. So we need to make sure we get the kill with Red Death to regenerate our HP. We're going to stand in this corner and we're going to use our Twilight Axe, is that what it's called? Twilight Arsenal. So we use our super. We might use a heavy GL shot 1 or 2, but we're just going to go to Exploit Zone. It's the third girder along. So you see the fence, the steel fence? It's the third girder along. And you are standing on an invisible floor. This is an Exploit Zone and they haven't patched it out. I suspect that this will be here when GMs come out as well. They're not going to change this. Although, let's not say that they're not going to, because then they will, because I actually quite like it. It's a Togetherness, Warden, nothing. This is an easy way of doing it. That's why you probably see easily in the title. When I say a video is easily, so when I say easily solo flawless this or easily that, What it means is easily once you've watched the video, because the video contains everything about that topic in great detail, it's easy to you. It's not easy if you skip the video. That's your fault. It isn't my fault. You need to organize your time on your playtime versus YouTube and Twitch time. And when you're watching YouTube and Twitch, make sure that you fill your hours of learning good information. Stop watching people who talk rubbish. Stop watching the people that are fake and phony and don't give you the correct information. Value your own time by watching people who are useful to you, and that's how you'll get better, because you can get better at the game even when you're not playing. I do this all the time. I learn a lot of information off people, and I'm not even playing. I'm learning Destiny 2 at work. Don't tell anybody though. No, but look, easy to we can't pop super in this point in this exploit zone. You cannot. So you can pop Prismatic though, and that the nade does massive damage. So we're just going to melt the boss from here, but that was your Solo Flawless Master Nightfall, the Togetherness edition. If this video does well, we'll maybe do another run, or maybe, you know, we'll see how it goes. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.